Greetings. Check this out. The lyrics will be on the left. We're gonna play the video on the left, and you'll see it's supposed to be randomly generated music and lyrics that copies the song. You'll see what I'm talking about.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. Commitments are unbidden yours. You wouldn't give this remaining other guy. Just wanna tell me how we are. Loving if you understand. Never gonna let you down. 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 Never gonna say goodbye. Let me in your eyes, baby. Cause it's a good time. Don't want you to. Now you're in your life, taste it. Make me set the TV, let's see you.
So when I first heard this, I was just thinking it was kind of crappy sounding. Not very impressive. I should probably clean up by saying. However, by the grace of God, by providence, I found this comment that I just showed you the lyrics of, and I found it remarkably pretty accurate. The nature of this kind of material is very similar to the psychiatrist's ink blot test, where they say, people see what they want to see. I reject that. And the reason why is because I think it's possible there might be multiple interpretations of a certain ink blot test. But I think there's usually the strongest perception, or the strongest image. Kind of like when two friends, two boys out in the field, resting in the afternoon, looking at the clouds, and one of them, you see the cloud and say, "Oh yeah, this one looks like a whatever," and then his friend says, "No, actually, it kind of looks like this." And then the other one may say, "Oh yeah, you're right. It does look like a rhinoceros." So I think there's the strongest image I believe exists usually. Now, the cool part is when there's two images that exist that are equal in strength. That's where we get the M.C. Escher old man or young woman painting, drawing. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. It's a drawing that's made to have two equally strength images. So, but with inkblot test and with this, I don't think that's the case. I think there's a strongest image. And I think the person who posted that lyrics, I think that's kind of in the strongest. There's a couple nonsense things in there that could probably be improved. For example, he says, "I'm gay," and it says "I." Well, I think it says "I'm gay, not," as if he's like saying, the not joke. "Oh, I'm gonna brush my teeth, not," or whatever. Children, kind of a children's thing. So, I'm sorry. It takes me a long time to collect my thoughts. I didn't write a script to this, and I don't think I'm going to. I probably ought to. But I just want to get it out there and move on with my day. Actually, I was going to say my COVID day, but I think that's kind of like a security. Actually, I can't say that word. Dang it. I just did it on this version. Well, I think we're going to have to pray to God that he allows this video to go out. As we all, well, as some of us know, YouTube is Oh yeah, I didn't say anything about it, so I guess they're not going to knock it. You're not allowed to disagree with them on YouTube, or they take you off. Okay, so sorry for going on and on. Losing track of my thought here. So yeah, I think there is a strong image. I think this person's with comment is accurate. It's also, let's take a look at some of these lyrics before we dive into this second part of this video here. Iron thinking is kind of interesting because iron is speaking of metal. Not necessarily copper and silicon as in computers, but I kind of get like an Iron Age, which relates to, in the Bible, a kingdom that would be built of both, would have iron and clay mixed together, which is kind of interesting. Because iron is kind of like wires, clay is kind of like silicon. There's some biblical words in here. Boasting, that's kind of a biblical thing. Of course, the giveth, you only giveth, it's kind of interesting. Magic's interesting. Pride is interesting. Never land a lie. So that's kind of some interesting. But there's a lot of nonsense. I don't really get too much out of that. So for some reason I decided, let me try my own to get some more lyrics out of this thing. And I did not scour the video, for several hours or minutes or whatever. I just kind of played it, and then I wasn't even trying very hard, and I heard something. The first thing I heard, this is like my third or fourth take on this video. And because I have a problem of rambling too much or something like that. I try not to make this a 15-minute video. My goal is like under 10 minutes. Let's try to do it. Come on, man. I sound a little bit like Jack Nicholson, who had that one pedophile at his house, but I digress. The director pedophile. Anyways. Losing track of my thought. I have a problem doing that. Okay. So under 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So I just kind of went to my own deal. This is what I found. I didn't try very hard. That's what I'm trying to say. Let's listen to it once, then I'll tell you what I think it says, and we'll listen to it again and whatever. And I'll tell you kind of the history. I guess that's not really important. Let's just listen. Oh, shoot. I just hit buttons here. Again. Okay, so when I first heard that, all I heard at the very beginning was, tell him I'm Satan's hybrid. Oh, Satan's hybrid. It's interesting lyrics. And then I listened to, and then I started recording this video on the first take, and then I heard more. So what I hear now, I started hearing more and more. Third take, I heard more. Fourth take, whatever. So what I believe it's being said here is Father God also prays to God, which is probably blasphemous. I'm not really sure. I know the Son prayed to the Father, but the Father is mightier than the Son, as the Son told us in the scriptures. Father God also prays to God, won't give up a thing, miserable. Tell him I'm Satan's hybrid. Now, let's listen to it again. Now, okay, I'm going to try to go fast. I have a problem. If I go too fast, it's like I don't know. It's just difficult. It's difficult. I know. Okay, come on. I gotta stop thinking to myself. Okay. I have a slight background in programming and the programming language. Well, in programming and also in artificial intelligence. The term artificial intelligence was coined by one of the programming languages I study, which is called Lisp. Artificial intelligence is it's like a marketing term. It's not very good because it kind of speaks of it's anyway. So what artificial intelligence is basically two things. It is making a decision or decisions. It's usually going to be more than one decision. That's how they get fancy. And then there is data. So an example, a parable here would be you're at a movie theater. It's a very popular movie. They're playing the same movie in two different theaters. Okay, so there's a line of people. And the ticket grabber guy has been instructed, which is a decision, that every other family goes to different. Every family goes to different. Every other. I'm sorry. I'm kind of. So, excuse me. Example one. So, first family comes. They go to theater A to watch Twister. Popular 1997, 6. I've seen that. Anyways, okay. Second family goes to theater B, and then again the third goes. So it's every, if you want to say all the, I don't want to get into it, but I think you understand. So, he's been given an instruction, which is also related to a decision. They're interrelated, they're interrelated. And the people would kind of represent the data, sort of. So that's all it is, and I just want to kind of give that out because people speak of algorithms, which is just a fancy way of saying decisions. And it's not as fancy as what people think it is. And so I just want to shed a little bit of light on that situation. So the problem here is, so there's some explanations that can take place of what's going on. Part of their decision making is they don't want to say Father Purple or Father Exciting or Father Slippery. You want to put the right things together. So that's kind of one of their instructions is, we want to have whatever. And so the way these guys might be programming it is, when Father comes in, we want it to make sense because they're trying to generate, right? This is the whole point of making the song is to make it realistic, to make it as if it's a real song. And people don't listen to nonsense songs, we listen to real songs. So they're accessing real coupling of words like Father, God, right? It's interesting why it's choosing to say Father. It could say something else. But I believe this is a sign that God is allowed to let those who need to know that the computers are a component of this future witchcraft that's coming. Because this is, very similar to an olden times, I don't know the details, like taking the organs of a bird or something and seeing what they look like, or I don't know how that crap works. But, there's problems with the problem with this is, you have a whole sentence here that is biblical in context. And unless, they're trying to make weird, that's what they programmed is only biblical language, and that's what the computer's choosing, that would explain why that's happening. But I don't think that's what they programmed into it. I'm sure they have the computer data, part of the database is the Bible, but I think there's also Charles Dickens stuff and, all kinds of authors that they just shove into the database that the computer can choose from. Or I should say that gets selected based on criteria, if you want to call that choice. So that's what the problem is here. I guess we'll listen to it one more time. I don't know. Maybe I'll hear something new. Let's maybe go 10 seconds before and listen. I don't know. So, at the very beginning, it says something about my penis, which is kind of, that's common for like devils and stuff. Anyways, you can find this video here if you want to see on your own and get your own lyrics, or like I argue, there's really probably only one set of lyrics that really fit. So just discover what's being actually said here. Thank you for your time.